Chris Lombard, who is a dear friend. We've known each other, I don't know, at least 10 years, maybe more. And one of the ways I want to introduce Chris is that I call him Maine's horse whisperer. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Chris is absolutely beautiful in his work with horses and with the riders of horses. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But he's also an author. He recently, about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago, just published a book, Land of the Horses.
A true story of a lost soul and a life found.
True story of a lost soul and a life found. And we will also talk about that a little bit because it all ties in. I know Chris plays guitar. Do you write your own music?
Not quite yet. I strum through a lot of chords, but I've yet to actually put any words to it.
Cool. You're getting there then.
Trying to.
And he's an amazing writer besides the book. If you are connected with Chris in any social media, you will find, whether it's a few sentences or a few paragraphs, his writing really speaks to your soul. And there's always something to learn from Chris's wisdom, whether it is in writing or talking with him in person. And joining us on the interview today are 3 dogs that are roaming about. So you might see a few dogs joining us. Thanks for your patience around that. They're very active today. So Chris, I thought that the second way I wanted to introduce you, Cece, come on down.
Hop down. Right now, hop down. Ready? Look out for the camera. There you go. That's a good spot right there. That's a good spot.
In addition to being Maine's horse whisperer, another way I feel you live is a man of the heart. It is your heart that guides you in almost every action, every step, every word. And I want to know how you feel about that. Do you feel that that's pretty accurate?
Yes. And you mentioned my work with horses and everything, and that's really where I found my way. Way back when I was 26 years old, at that time in your life where you're searching, everybody's searching for the best way to express what's in your heart. And through horses, I was able to find the best way I had found up until that moment, along with writing, the best way to express my heart.
All right, so I'm going to go back to a little bit. 26. 26 is when you made a shift. How did that happen?
As with most things in life, I find change comes with challenge. Good change even, comes with challenge. A little bit of discomfort that kind of puts you out of your comfort zone and helps you to search for something more, which at the time, you might not really be enjoying. You might feel that it's a time you don't want to be in, I've found. But it was through what I believed was the hardest time of my life up until that moment at age 26. It was through that moment that I am now having the most gratitude for out of any moment in my life, because it led me so amazingly to horses at a time where there were no horses around me. I was living in the city of Portland, Maine. There were no horses around. So the way that I was led to them at that moment, and the way that I couldn't get them out of my head after that moment, led me to the biggest feeling of being connected to myself that I'd ever found. That to this day that I've ever found.
How did that happen? Because you're right, there's no horses in Portland, except
Right.
for maybe a few. There used to be some police horses. I don't know if they're still on.
I don't believe they're there anymore. When it was happening, I was in a relationship, and it was the deepest relationship I had been in my life up until that moment. And on the night that we were splitting up, my girlfriend at the time and I were at a home where she was house sitting and looking after the animals. And during the talk where we were officially breaking up, which at that time was just very tragic to me and was hurting me very much, but in the middle of that talk, she looked at her watch quickly and said, "Whoops, I have to go feed the horses." And she said I was welcome to come with her if I liked. And I sometimes wonder, like, what if I'd said, no, I'll stay in here? Or, but it doesn't seem like that's possible. It seems like you look back at it and you say, of course I was going to get up and go, I'll go with you.
You could have elected to just walk out then, too.
Could have elected to do all these other number of things.
Right.
What if it was a different night we had met to talk at a house that didn't have horses? But it just doesn't make sense to me that was possible. It had to be that house that night. And we went out to the barn to feed the horses, and still talking a little bit, but we'd kind of hit the pause button at that moment. And while she was feeding them, Paul, I let go. For weeks I had been feeling the pain of going over everything in your head as to a relationship, as to what if this, what if that, could I have done better with this, what is she feeling, what am I feeling, the challenging stuff. They were eating the hay, and my mind just slowly let go and relaxed, and I just started to go into this almost peaceful meditative trance, listening to them eat, the slow rhythmic sound of them getting a bite of hay, lifting their head, looking at me, slowly methodically chewing it, and then repeating the process. And then right in the middle of that I heard her say, well, I'm going back into the house now. And she was up at the barn doorway heading back in, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot what I was here for. I thought, oh my Lord, and my heart went right back to it.
Mm.
But as I was walking out the door, I remembered I turned and I looked back. And I can still see it now. Their two heads, they're both in stalls, the way they were looking at me, And so then we went back in and we talked about the split up, and it was hard for both of us. And I, after that, went into just a bit of, I guess you'd call it, a bit of a depression, where you just can't get your mind off it, and you just don't feel like getting up in the mornings. You don't feel like doing anything. You don't take care of yourself very well, and all that. And then other stuff was going on at that time. My mom went into the hospital and was close to death. The job I had, I worked as a bar manager at a place, and then I was informed the place was closing down.
Wow.
So all this kind of happened at once. I was like, wow, geez, this is the toughest time of my life. But through it all, I couldn't get the idea of those two horses out of my head. They kept popping up. They kept popping. That look they had as they were watching me walk out the barn. And so I finally said, all right, guys, all right. You keep staring at me that way. I guess it's time. And I made an appointment I actually called my cousin Stephanie, who had horses, and she set me up with a riding instructor. And then the moment I got in that barn around the horses, the same thing happened. My mind left everything, let go of everything, and I was in the moment in a way I'd never been in the moment before, in the present, feeling all the sights and sounds and smells around me. And I was not only in that moment, but I was in the moment with something else. The horse, in a connection, in a feeling. And for the first time in my life, I think I experienced what truly being in the moment was, where past and future just weren't there. The braces of the past and the worries of the future weren't there. The present was enough. And that was the beginning of me just dedicating my life to that.
Wow. The present was enough. I think we are all striving for that, or trying to understand that the present is enough. And I certainly wrestle with that all the time. So I want to grab that phrase and work with that a little bit. How has that impacted your life? The present is enough going forward.
When I look at humans and all the great things about humans, and how we can learn from the past and remember the past, and how we can plan for the future and have an intuition for the future. But I also look at how humans let that stuff get in the way, where they stew over the past and it gets in the way of them enjoying the present, and how humans worry about the future and it will get in the way of them enjoying the present. But then I look at animals. They learn from the past. They learn from it, but do not let it get in the way of them enjoying the present. And they have an intuition for the future and how it can help them, but they do not worry and stew over it. So the more I'm around animals and the more I connect to my desire to help people through animals, the more I'm in the present.
Wow.
The more I'm just in the present right there. And as the years go by and more challenges come and there's mistakes and there's learnings, but a balance comes, a great balance, and I think that's the present. You know, the balance of what you've learned from the past and enjoying the lessons, and excitement and gratitude for the next second and the next day that's coming, and just enjoying those two feelings in the moment, in the present, with all the sights and sounds and views and things to see and do all around us.
So when you're with animals, it's easier for you to be in the present.
Yes.
When you're not with animals, and Matea is a constant companion, so so maybe putting Matea aside for a moment, how do you stay present in the moment?
The way that animals have taught me, you know, they seem to enjoy life for the simple gift that they've been given it. You know, they seem to be in the present moment without any feeling of anything holding back the enjoyment of that. So I've just noticed in my own life, the things that I can do that are really strong for me, first and foremost, is gratitude, where I'm thankful. I just got into this habit where sometimes throughout my day, it could be 200 or 300 times I'll say thank you to all the little things that are happening. You know, to everything that is going on. You know, that everything and not just. And at first, you know, I think, you know, when I was younger in my journey, you'd feel gratitude for the good things that are happening. But now, no matter what's happening, I say thankful. I say thank you for it. And then after that, for me, the feeling of giving, the feeling of understanding the world and giving to the world, in animals, the environment, and then other humans, my fellow humans around me. Finding ways to give, which are available at every moment. At every moment. There's nothing more just riveting, I find, than giving something that connects to another person's heart and inspires them,
right.
And how you feel back, what you feel back from that.
That's what to live for is all about.
It is.
Sharing that vibe, paying that vibe forward.
Yeah.
And you do that so well all the time.
Okay, Tiki, up, down, up, down. Good girl.
How is it for you being a male on this path? Because for me personally, sometimes I feel like I'm not sure people get me in this work. What is it like for you, being a guy that's trying to live from your heart and being this deeply connected with nature and walking deeply with every step?
How I mentioned having gratitude and giving. I feel it's very important to recognize having gratitude for yourself and giving to yourself in order to be able to take care of others. The energy that is put forth from the world, from any individual or anything, I believe comes from that individual cultivating its own positive energy, first and foremost for themselves. You know, being able to generate it from the natural ways the world has given to fill us up, rather than seeking to attain energy by things going well, other people saying or doing things for us, things going our way, good things happening, people treating us the way that we want them to, expect them to, expectations, those things, which all this can just really give an individual the feeling of being out of control of their own life.
Right.
And a feeling of always being out of balance. So for me personally as an individual, and also as a male, you mentioned some of the things that I do to try and keep myself balanced. You know, I find one, getting quiet, meditation, whether it be sitting on a rock by a water, or whether it be listening to meditative music, or whether it be going through a walk through the forest, or whether it be sitting cross-legged on a cushion going into a full meditative trance. I find getting quiet is where peace comes and answers come in a way that they're given to you. And they tend to be the answers that are very connected to who you are.
Right.
And then from there, I try to then feel love. Okay? You can't give love if you have a hard time feeling it, I find. So I tend to feel love. I go for walks, runs, hikes in the woods. For me, it's important to do this alone. And I just notice beauty. I see beauty in things, everything, and it starts to fill me up. I try to have my passions about me, the things that I love in life, all the things that are specific to all of us. I need to be around horses, but I don't need to play the piano. There's another person who needs to play the piano, and they don't feel the need to be around horses. These are things that seem to be born into us that we need to have around us, or we just don't feel right. So I have my passions about everything.
So do you think your partnership, connection, and love with horses was with you from an early stage in your life? And it was that fateful night with your girlfriend that finally made that connection?
I believe there's this constant discussion out there between fate and destiny or complete free choice. We make it up as we go. And there's no pre-planned path for us. I believe the answer is often never an extreme. There's never a one side or the other. There's never a right or wrong. The answer usually lies in what we'd find in the balance of the middle. I believe every individual, I think, has a path before them. But we are not just pulled along that path by some invisible force out there where we could just sit and do nothing all day and it's still going to take us down that path. I believe there's a path in front of us and we can feel it, but we are left complete freedom and free choice to make the choices and decisions on that path, to walk that path as we want to, as we will, as we're drawn to. And I believe that when we're on it, we can tell we're on it by this great inner guidance system of feeling good and happy and joy and passionate within life. And when we stray from the path, the feelings of feeling off, unbalanced, sad, bothered in some way.
Anxious, maybe?
Anxious is a great word there. I believe that's the inner guidance system put in place. Because in this great world, to feel all the great feelings we want to enjoy, we must also have those opposites to be able to feel the great feelings. So I believe that guidance system then helps us put us back on that path. All right. So all I know is that there's some things in this world that I'm not drawn to, and some things I am. And the best way I could explain it is when I got around horses, things just clicked into place to like I already knew them.
Do you have any childhood experiences with horses?
None that I can remember. I always feel them there. It's hard to, that's the one part that's hard to explain. I feel like I could always feel them there. I could see how I was being set up to meet them someday.
So in many native cultures, there's a belief in animal guides, animal spirit guides. And clearly, I assume you'd say the horse is probably your main animal spirit guide, possibly?
I look at, I'm very close to a number of animals in my life, but the two that I am closest to are my dog Matea and my horse Rocky. And Matea, I feel, is a best friend walking beside me on this path through life. Rocky, I feel, has one hoof in the other world and one foot in this world, and he is my spiritual guide through this life.
How does Rocky teach you?
Rocky shows me me. And I believe this is true for anybody when they work around animals of any sort, but especially horses. I feel horses kind of think they kind of signed on for this deal a little bit to help the humans. And I believe that when horses get around a person, they will automatically begin to mirror back that person's strengths and also their weaknesses. And I believe it is then just a matter of when the human feels open to seeing that and understanding that and welcoming it and being thankful for it.
So does that lead into how you work with horses and their owner slash rider?
Yes.
So
Yes.
are you helping the rider read the horse? Are you helping the horse read the rider? What's that?
Both. But I think the main thing I'm hoping to get to is where the human reads themselves.
Ah, I missed that.
Yeah, that's where I'm hoping to get it to. And when I work with people and their horses, I always tell them the reason why I kind of really get to be there doing that is because I've gone through everything they've gone through. Everything, the challenges with horses and the self-doubt and the worry, the fear that comes out with an interaction with a horse. And people say, oh, you mean the fear of getting bucked off or kicked? Oh yes, physical fear, but no, it's also the mental and spiritual fear that comes out there. I've been there, and I'm still there. Rocky is still, people ask me, what's the most amazing connection I've ever had with a horse? I say, oh, Rocky. And Aji Manai Suka Wakan, the rising water horse. And they ask me, what's the most challenging horse you've ever worked with? That's the most amazing horse you've ever worked with, the most connection you've ever had. What's the most challenging horse, Chris, that brought out all your fears and all your doubts? And I say, yeah, it's Rocky. And Aji Manai Suka Wakan, the rising water horse. It's been him. It always will be him. And I've learned to welcome it. But I think that what happens, Paul, is in the moment, we can't really know in the moment what it is yet. We can't welcome it and say, oh, thank you for this challenge. I think every time we go through a new challenge, we go, oh, okay, how did I not? I'm better now, I got it. And we kind of feel like, all right. And then we experience a new challenge, and we're like, wow, I thought I learned how to navigate challenges. I thought I was more understanding of how to deal with my own fears and my own braces and all that. And that's, when you're in the moment, you're kind of not allowed to know. That's the fun of life. You're not allowed to know in the moment what it's all about. The fun of life, I believe, is the experience of the challenge and the connection and the balance of both. But I think in human life right now, we got caught up in a line of growth that has us feeling like destination is the key, acquiring is the key, accumulating, getting to a place where there's less stuff bothering us, getting to a place where we've acquired safety in all these shapes and forms, whether it be material possessions or the safety of a relationship. And I believe that life is supposed to be a balance of, yes, safety and connection, but also of discomfort and challenge. And I believe we need to welcome that a little bit more into our lives and grow a little bit more in the accumulation of within, of the growth within, rather than the outward accumulation and growth that so much, I think, of humanity got caught up in for a while in the last couple centuries, really.
Right.
Yeah.
You're one of the interviews where I feel we could spend weeks together because you have so much wisdom. But I want to be mindful of time. And one of my favorite questions that I ask folks is, if you could impart a little wisdom to someone out there that might be asking, well, how do I do that? How do I get in touch with what my heart is telling me? Or how do I get in touch with animals? Or how do I live in the moment? Top 3. I know the list could be long. Top 3 steps someone could take.
Okay. 1.
Step 1.
1. Find a place in your life where you can find silence. Find a place in your life where you can find quiet and solitude. A lot of people feel like, oh, meditation, do I have to go far away into the wood? It can be anywhere. It can be anywhere, but just go and get quiet and sit with yourself. And I tell you, answers come. Answers come. The next thing I would do, feel love. And it can't be waiting for somebody to say I love you or I like you or you're the best or you're good at that or anything else. There's a way where you can just walk through a forest, walk down a city street, where you can look at an individual and smile, and you're going to feel love, and it's going to come up from within. You're going to find out love is inside you. It's not out there, it's inside you. Okay? You're going to feel that love. And my heart's starting to beat with the excitement of it. Step 3, give that love. Find ways to give that love. That smile, smile at somebody. Go to an animal shelter and volunteer walking dogs. Do the dishes for somebody. And you'll find out that it's not dependent upon what you get back from that. It's not dependent upon what they say or do. You're going to find out that the action in itself of giving fills you up more. And here's the big deal. You'll find out that by giving, all of a sudden things you'll be getting. Things will come to you. Yeah. Magically sometimes it'll feel. You'll find the things that you need to be filled up will kind of be given to you right there. And then after that, just have your, what you're going to do is you're also going to start to feel your passions in life. Those answers are going to come to you. Like, I need to play that piano. I need to be around horses. I need to be a race car driver. I need to be an Air Force pilot. I need to get my first job ever that I've ever had in my life as a janitor at that local school. I need to do these things. And then the other passions, I need to play guitar. I need to write. I need to take photographs. I need to model. I need to do art. I need to play football. These things are going to come to you, and you're going to find out that if they're in your life, they fill you up. And they're specific to only you. Have your passions about you. And start living as if. Start living as if what you'd like to have in your life is coming. And you just take steps. And that's the glory of it, is that you don't want to get to the end. As Henry David Thoreau said, he said, if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and they endeavor to live the life they have imagined, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. And it sounds like it doesn't sound like a flowery, exciting quote, but what he's saying is, if you just advance confidently, if you just endeavor, if you just try, if you just take one step towards your dreams, you'll meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Meaning every day, every moment, you'll feel these little moments of success. And then you just keep walking towards your dream, and you'll realize that it's a journey, that life is a journey that can't be won or lost, only lived. And you want the walk to go on as long as it can.
That's beautiful, my friend. Beautiful.
You bring it out, my friend. You bring it out, my wise and deep-hearted friend.
We can get your book on Amazon.
Yeah.
And you have a Facebook page. Do you have a website?
Yeah.
You have a website?
Yeah.
What's the website?
Just chrislombard.com.
There you go, folks. Check it out. Amazon, chrislombard.com. Facebook. Amazing, amazing work with people, horses, amazing guide, such wisdom. We are so grateful.
Paul,
you are to live for.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. I've known you for a while now. You're a great friend, and you've inspired me in many ways, and you inspire me more by what you're doing through To Live For.
Right back at you.
Yeah. Thank you.